Welcome back, guys. And the time is here for the winter garden install. Come along with me as we turn this drawing into this wonderful winter garden. So initially I wanted to kind of lay the plastic down and plant through the plastic, but I said, no, scratch that. Let me go ahead and pull out my tiller. So this specific area has never been tilled before to plant a garden. So it did take some time to do all of the tilling and to remove all of the grass and the debris from that area. Now, this garden install did take me around 6.5, 7 hours from start to finish, but the biggest part was the tilling. So, this little tiller, I've had it for a couple of years, and it is plug it in, as you can see here, the cord. But if anybody have any suggestions on a gas powered little tiller, definitely drop it in the comments below, because I would not be using this one. It did work, but the only thing I didn't like was I had to keep moving the cord, and then it would come unplugged. And then also I had to constantly hold the trigger up top to keep the tiller going. So definitely, if you have any other suggestions of a better tiller, drop it in the comments below, because I will be purchasing one for the next season. Now again, the tilling did take the longest part of the job, about 2 hours with just straight tilling. Then of course the cord kept coming loose, so definitely drop in the comments below to see what other tiller I could possibly use in the future. And like I mentioned, this area had never been tilled before, so it was quite challenging with the roots and all the debris, but it did work out fantastic in this area. And with this area never been tilled before, of course, as I was tilling, there were several roots and a lot of debris that got tangled up, but I just turned it off, reach in there, and clean everything out of the tiller. Now, another thing that I did as well, as you're tilling, I started to rake every other debris up. And what I decided to, I'm like, well, what am I going to do with all of this? So I just simply made me a border, and I'll show you guys later on the video what I'm going to do with the actual border that I created from all of the debris and the dirt and the grass that I actually tilled from the garden. Now, with having a raised bed garden and an in-ground garden, they are very different, of course. With the raised bed garden, you would simply have your box, fill it up with your cardboard at the bottom, and then put all of your good soil in it and plant from there. And it'll be super easy install. But the in-ground garden, they're my favorite. I love to get in the dirt and actually sow all the plants and the seeds directly into the earth. That's just my favorite way of gardening, but there are several different options for gardening. But our main garden, I wanted to do a full ground install because I will be succession planting as well throughout the winter. If you never tilled before, it is essential that you want to do your best to get all of the roots and all of the grass and all of the stems and anything that could hinder the growth of your veggies. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to get every single root and every single stem out, But definitely do your best with the tiller. And what I do, I just till and till and till in one area until you start to see the dirt come up. Now, I will go back when the garden is planted in about 2 weeks and go back and then just hand pick some of the extra roots in the grass that I see that may have taken back root after the tilling. Um, just to ensure that the plants will have the best time to survive and to. So this year in our winter garden, we will have the purple kale, we'll have collard greens, we'll have cabbages, purple cabbages, and then we're also going to have Brussels sprouts and broccoli, some red onion. And if you've been following along, you already know we have the baking potatoes and the sweet potatoes already planted. Now, this here is the Swiss chard. I've never planted it before, but I wanted to definitely get it. And actually, this Swiss chard and spinach was on the half off rack because some of the bugs had kind of eaten it. So I was able to get that at a discount, but I did trim it up and I'm going to plant it and it should produce well. Another thing that I did is a layout. Once I tilled everything, I did go back and draw me some lines so I can have some type of guidance as I'm getting ready to lay down the plants. Now, what I like to do is to get all of my plants and do a full layout so I can actually see where the plants are going to go and how it's going to look. Now, doing your layout, you want to make sure that you're going to have enough spacing in between all of the plants because, of course, now they're small, but you want to give them some space to grow. Now, what I'm planting first here is just the buttercups lettuce, and then I have some romaine lettuce as well. So my first row is just going to be all lettuce, and then I'll continue to plant. The next row I'm laying out is the Swiss chard. I've always thought that Swiss chard was so beautiful growing. So this year I decided to go to the nursery and to actually get some. Now the Swiss chard that they did have, some of the bugs had kind of eaten it. Of course, that's just part of nature. So what I did, I still purchased it because it was half off, and I just simply clipped back all of the dead or chewed up leaves from the bugs, and long as the root system is still good, the plants will still thrive. So I cut them all the way down, all the dead leaves or the bugs had chewed on, and I still planted them in the garden. Now, it will take about 2 weeks for everything to take root, but the root system is still healthy and we should grow some beautiful Swiss chard. And I can't wait to see all of the different colors that the stems produce. Now this is the full layout of the garden. Started first with the lettuce, then we have the kale, the Swiss chards, then next we have the greens, and here we have the Brussels sprouts on each corner. And next to it, I also have broccoli. Broccoli's on each end, and I have the kale. And I also planted some purple cabbages this time in the garden. There's the Swiss chard. So now that we have everything laid out, let's get to it and start to planting all of the new veggies we have for the winter garden. This is why I always tell everyone, you're going to do a garden, do the layout first because it gives you a visual map of where everything is going to go. So literally you lay everything out and then come right behind your full layout and dig a couple holes and put the plants in. Now my rule of thumb is I like to at least, of course, put the whole plant in the hole, but I still like to at least cover up about an inch to an inch and a half of the plant, just because when you water it, some of the dirt is going to roll off, and you want to ensure that the plants have the best survival rate when you planting them. So definitely make sure all of the complete root system is covered. And I tried to grab the big shovel, but it didn't work. So I went back to the hand trowel. It was so much easier to dig the holes because the plants were not that big. And the actual size of the garden trowel was about the perfect size that I needed for all of the holes for the plants that I'm actually planting today. Now in this row, I'm planting all of the cabbages. I have green cabbage and I have purple cabbage this year. So my last two rows will be purple cabbage, regular cabbage, and the last row is going to be the collard greens. Cannot wait to see the collard greens and the cabbages and the Brussels sprouts because all of these veggies love the cold weather. The colder it gets, the better they perform. And another thing I like about the winter garden, the bugs are gone. Summer gardens are fantastic. You get to grow different fruits and vegetables, but the bugs will be so discouraging because they will eat up everything. But you have to remember it's nature. So I prefer a winter garden, less bugs, and the colder it gets, the better the veggies grow. So what I'm doing here on each corner, I decided to plant the Brussels sprouts and the broccoli to actually give them some room to grow individually out on each corner. And I thought that it'll look very nice as well to add a little pizzazz to the garden with seeing the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts. Now here is the final result of the in-ground garden. I did go back and add the pine straw, and I had to check on the red beans, and I found a little creature. Don't know what he was, but he had to go. You can definitely go back and look at all the other videos about the beans. And even though it is October, I still have a lot of banana peppers that are producing. So we'll let those keep growing throughout the winter until they stop producing us vegetables and fruits. Now, this was about 2 days after the garden install. I did plant radish and beets as well, and I have some already coming up. Now this is what I did with the border, guys. I had a pack of 50 of the red onions. So with the border I made, I just went back and planted all 50 of the red onion bulbs in the border to give them their own space. Now here are the potatoes, so go back and check out the potato tracker videos. I planted rutabagas in the garden first time for those. And we also have, this is the second bucket of rutabagas. And we also planted carrots in the garden, and we have the beets, the radish. So we cannot wait to see the progress. So you guys stay tuned so we can continue to track the garden. Bye.